Everyone wants to take their business, their skills, to the next level. Small and mid-sized business owners have exceptional insight into how to do this. They endure and thrive because they find ways to overcome the challenges that come their way, and they can teach us valuable lessons to apply to our own companies and lives. Stephen Nooner, founder and owner of Alkali, a company with a unique process that helps businesses more effectively buy and manage their insurance programs. And Bob Gibbons, builder of Riata Commercial Realty, a real estate advisor and tenant advocate, are two prominent Metroplex businessmen who, along with their weekly guests, will ask their and your probing questions, finding impactful solutions that will help you reach for the next level. Here are your hosts, Stephen Nooner and Bob Gibbons.
Welcome to The Next Level, Conversations that Propel Business. I'm your host, Stephen Nooner.
And I'm Bob Gibbons, and we're here today with a very interesting guest. Make us look bad as radio show co-host, Stephen.
That's not hard to do.
I don't believe that for a moment.
So we're here with our friend, my client, Sandy Abernethy. Sandy Mason Abernethy. You always put Mason on your middle name in here.
Yeah, you know, there can be some confusion about the gender when you just go by Sandy.
Oh, is that why you do it? Okay.
Yeah, and Mason helps a little. It's not like Sandy Chuck. But it helps a little.
Isn't that like Sandy Shannon or something?
All right, so Sandy Abernethy is the owner of Abernethy Media Professionals, and they are a film, video, commercial production company. They do all kinds of things with video and film, and he owns that with his wife, Amy Lou, who is in Seattle, so she's not with us today. And they do all kinds of incredible stuff. You can go to their website, amediapro.com, and see a sampling of some of the stuff they've done. It's pretty cool stuff. So go check that out. They have 23 employees. They have locations in Dallas and Seattle. And welcome to the show.
Well, thank
Welcome.
you. It's a pleasure to be here.
We like to start off every show with the wisdom of others, and you provided a quote. I thought before, and I really like it, so we're going to use yours. I would never belong to any club that would have me as a member. And that's Groucho Marx.
I would never belong to a club that would have him as a member either. But
why do you like that, other than it's funny?
Well, for one thing, it's one of the few quotes I could actually remember. No, I think it's great. You know, it's sort of it's all about being thinking differently, and you know, when clubs get too big, I think there's too much groupthink, and you know, we've always sort of had an independent streak. So I guess that sums it up a little bit.
So I kind of alluded in the intro that you can show us how to do this better than we know how to do this. So you have a background in radio. Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, one of my first jobs when I was, I guess, still in high school, worked at a little radio station in Charleston, West Virginia.
Wow.
Which is where I'm from. And it worked on the FM side, where basically, I'm going to date myself a little bit here, we would play beautiful music. WBES was the radio station, and they had reel-to-reel tapes that were platters about 12 inches across that played just nonstop, like, you know, the music that your parents enjoyed. And I would get to come on and make it the weather announcement like once an hour. But other than that, I was in charge of just changing tapes all day long. And yeah, easy listening.
Yeah. Did you ever have any bloopers or mess ups on that?
Oh, probably.
No great stories that you remember?
No great stories. No, it was a pretty simple job. You know, mostly we were paid to keep our mouths shut and keep changing tapes. Eventually, I did get to work on the AM side, which was a top 40 station, and got to, you know, spin a few records here and there, but those shifts were few and far between. It's mostly, again, over there, it was like I got to work the Sunday morning shift, which was a lot of fun, playing the religious broadcasting from like 6 a.m. till noon, which meant that I did not, if I was behaving, go out on Saturday night, because I had to be in the station at about 5 in the morning on Sunday.
No fun.
Yeah.
Well, so tell us about Abernethy Media Professionals. How did you get into that business?
Well, as Stephen was mentioning, you know, you've got a company that started in your spare room with your wife as your business partner, and that's pretty much how we got started. But really, it started with me as a cameraman, a freelance cameraman, and
Like just stills or videos, or
no, as a video guy, and I was, just doing work for hire and renting equipment most of the time, and eventually I got to the point where I was renting equipment so much I needed to buy something, and so that was like at that point in my life, and the way video gear was priced at that point, it was either buy a house or buy some video equipment, buy a camera and lights and whatnot. Yeah, so I bit the bullet and did that, and at that same time, my wife actually was a teacher. She got her degree from North Texas and started teaching. And then from that, Stephen, is there some recognition? Is this your...
My wife was a teacher.
Yeah.
She graduated from North Texas, supported me while I started the company.
Yeah.
I feel a bromance coming on.
Wow.
Well, see, she went from teaching in public schools to working for a company that developed curriculum.
Okay.
Private company, and they had a department in there that was producing videos, and they needed help writing scripts. So she started doing that, and then she was like, "I like this. I like working with these video people," and she's a great script writer, and she's a quick study, and was very good at sort of synthesizing information and turning it around.
Were you guys already married at this point?
Yeah, we were married at that point, and so basically, the thing that really kicked it into gear was there's a Final Cut Pro, was Apple's editing software that came onto the market at this time, and we bought like the first system in town, and I really bought it just so that I could say I can edit things, because it was inaccessible before that. It was just, this was all on a computer, everything before had been like big machines with tapes and all this. So we bought that, and before you know it, people started asking us, can you produce a show? Can you write something and produce it and
What kind of
edit
people?
it? And, just small clients, small businesses, nonprofits and whatnot like that.
People you know.
Yeah, people we knew. And once that happened, well, actually some existing clients. I had a software company client that I would go shoot for, a couple times a month, and they were like, "Hey, this producer at this place said I can't do everything. Can you help me with it?" So anyway, what that led to was her saying, "Hey, this is great working together. Mm-hmm. We can do projects, we can make a buck, and I'm going to quit my job." And so she did. And then the rest is not quite history, but no, it grew from there. It was just the two of us in the extra room of the house for a couple of years, and I was still working freelance, going out with the cameras. And
So what's the life of a freelance photographer like? I mean, do you just wait for the phone to ring? And you just
well,
run like
that's
crazy
interesting.
to get it?
It was it can be like that. It can be like it's good if you have something to do with your spare time. Which at the time we had a house. We were like an old farmhouse. We were remodeling out in the country, and so it was good that I had a project that would take up all of my spare time. But no, I'm trying to think of what analogy to draw, what other businesses are like this, but you can be as busy as you want to be if you want to put the work into getting the work, right? Mm-hmm. And so that was when it really went from being a sort of a lifestyle choice to being a business full time, was when I said to myself, it's great being a freelancer and having some time off in the middle of the week and being able to do what I want with my time, but at one point, I decided I really needed to get serious and go full bore into marketing and to be working at it like a regular job, 40 hours a day, whether I had a gig or not, whether I was shooting or not. I was at the office and I was, making things happen.
Was there a trigger for that, or was it just like a free choice?
Well, it's been a long time ago, so I can't remember exactly what the trigger was. But
Cash, perhaps?
Yeah,
Maybe
cash.
on the way?
Paying for that equipment that was purchased. What was I going to say about the nature of it being that you can sit there and take whatever work comes along, or you can just get busy getting busy.
So were you shooting videos for like companies, or
Oh,
was
it's
this
everything.
like,
Corporate stuff,
network?
there was a company in it was everybody. Gosh, there was broadcasters. My career as a cameraman has tended to be more about being in Dallas to supply services to broadcasters and production companies and corporate production departments that are located elsewhere in the country who need help here locally.
Okay.
So they come into town for a shoot for a day or two or whatever, and then meet them and supply everything they need so they can go do their video interview and document this event or this, whatever it is they need to see, tell the story they need to tell.
But you weren't filming the bar mitzvahs. And
No. That was a rule early on. No weddings.
So you're focused and you're building and you're focused on just kind of going at it, as you said, 40 hours a week, like it would be for a real job. At what point did you really know that, like, hey, this is a business? We're gonna end up with 20 people, which takes some planning, and I mean, like at some point.
You asked the question earlier. I'm
Yeah.
sure that starting a family is a big motivator for a lot of people, and that's where we were. Married couple just starting out, and I think that is probably a real trigger for that. And I'm sorry, I was answering your previous question.
Sure.
So
And I was probably asking it another way. So thanks.
Yeah. So was there another?
No, I mean, at what point? So then you start going after it. At what point did you realize, like, wow, okay, like not just are we going to have steady income and we're building a little something, but we're really building a business. I mean, you have offices in Dallas and Seattle now, and
So it was a slow evolution there for a couple of years. It was just the two of us, and I think that we got into. I was continuing to freelance and just operate as a cameraman, and Amy Lou was writing scripts for people freelance, and then we were doing productions together when we could. But after a couple of years, we moved. We got into a space that was like, we went from the room off the kitchen to the room that was over the garage, which was, sort of a freestanding structure. So, like, now we have to walk to work all the way across the backyard. And then we actually, I hope the code people aren't listening, but we bought a house around the corner when we started having employees. We had, I think, 2 employees at that point. So we needed, a couple of thousand square feet. So we bought this house and operated out of there for a couple of years. And the other thing that happened was buying more equipment, buying more editing, a second camera and a third camera, and sort of developing the network of freelancers to operate that equipment, as opposed to just hiring staff people. And I don't know, it was more of an evolution. What is it, Bob?
so it was an evolution from going from freelancers to employees.
Yeah.
I mean, what's that trigger?
Just more work than you can handle. I think that's probably the classic story is, you just realize that you're working 70 hours a week and you have no quality of life and you need some help. And you need some help doing the things that aren't necessarily mission critical. It's answering the phones and responding to inquiries and so forth that you just need to get some help in the door. So.
Well, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to learn some new lingo, the lingo being gig economy. I have no idea what that means exactly, but when we come back, we're going to get Sandy to explain it to us.
And now, Confessions of a Recovering Landlord.
This is Bob Gibbons with Riata Commercial Realty, and I am your recovering landlord. After 20 years as a landlord, I now use that experience only for the benefit of companies that lease or buy office buildings and warehouses. Today's confession: knowledge is power. We all negotiate from a position of power and strength, or at least we want to. In any negotiation, the party with the most knowledge probably has the upper hand. And landlords count on this being the case whenever you're negotiating a lease, because most landlords are professional real estate investors and they hire professional leasing agents and property managers. Landlords are in the market every day negotiating leases, while tenants probably only negotiate 1, maybe 2 leases every few years. So tenants feel outgunned. Don't let landlords have all the power. As a former landlord for 20 years, I understand how landlords think and what motivates them. So let me put that knowledge and experience to work on your side of the negotiation. To learn more, contact me at texastenantrep.com. Again, that's Texas tenantrep.com.
Have you started making plans to take your business to the next level in 2016? Hi, I'm Stephen Nooner, founder and CEO of Alkali. We have a trademark process called the Empowered Advantage that enables CEOs, business owners, and entrepreneurs to more effectively buy and manage their insurance. Before sitting down to make your plans for the new year, here are just a few things to consider. Would you say that you have an actual insurance strategy, one that you can articulate, or have you just purchased a policy here and there over the years? If you have an insurance strategy, was it discussed under the pressure of a renewal deadline or considered earlier in the year to avoid fire drill decision making? If your answer was no to either of these questions, then you may not have the right partner on your team. Visit alkaliservices.com to contact us and take the next step to a bigger and better future.
This is Colin Sandberg, president of Unified Supply. We provide airport conveyors, and I would never trust Bob and Steve with my luggage at any airport.
We're back with Sandy Mason Abernethy of Abernethy Media Professionals. If you want to learn more, please visit amediapro.com.
Okay, so before the break, I alluded to the gig economy.
You did. You teased the gig economy.
Yes, that was our hook.
Yeah.
Pop
Come
really
on back.
over the hook. So
Just, and we talked about this before while we were not on the air, but it's we have a challenge to a portion of our business. Our business overall is providing full services, production services to our clients. So everything from take the meeting, find out what the communication need is, develop the creative, write the script, shoot, edit, and deliver the finished product. That is the full range of services that we provide for a full range of clients. But we also have this smaller part of our company that is, we call it camera and crew provisioning, and it's much like that freelance service I was referring to before, where you just need a limited range of services. It's more of a support function. I'm a producer from New York. I'm going to be in Dallas. I need to cover a story, and I need a camera person, a sound person, some equipment, and that's about it for a few days. Well, that's been a business that has grown fairly organically from the connections we have, that I had as a freelancer, as an individual, and we were just able to just keep growing it. We've put somebody in charge of it as a production coordinator who facilitates all of it and just keeps it humming. In the last few years, we've started to see real challenges there in that a lot of the clients that we have, which there are intermediaries between us, basically booking agencies, that they've been struggling, and we've seen their numbers go down, so therefore our numbers with them have gone down, as well as some numbers with our direct clients with whom we provide the same service. And it seems very akin to what is happening with something like an Uber versus traditional taxi cabs. There are just new technologies and new ways of the relationship being established between the client and the vendor that you have to be a part of, or you lose the work. And it's hard it seems to be something that's geared more toward individuals. So an individual owner operator like I used to be, who has a presence on the individual, who works Facebook and other social media, who's involved in networks or groups within those things, has direct access to clients now instead of having to go through a booking agency or something else. And so, I've got our social media person working diligently right now to try to solve that problem, see how we can be present in those communication chains to show up, when people need those services. Because it's not all of our business, but it's a significant chunk, and it also keeps our equipment going and keeps our connections with our vital freelancers working. So we don't want it to dry on the vine. We want to keep it happening.
Keep them busy.
Yeah.
So what is the way you market? You mentioned earlier about marketing your company. So how do you market your kind of a service?
Well, it's interesting. Over the years we've tried. I'm old enough to have grown up with a traditional concept of how you go to market, right? Mm-hmm. You have your marketing materials, you have your sales person or people, and you send them out there in the world, and they cold call, and they knock on doors, and they beat the bushes, and that just doesn't seem to work so much anymore. You've probably heard that from a number of people. As far as where we've had our most success is really just growing stuff from our existing clients. We've had a lot of clients that go from one company to another, and they take us with them, and that's been wonderful. But the traditional approach of just having a product or a service and selling it just has not. We've tried that a couple of different times. It's not worked out for us. So now we're relying on our sort of traditional network of people, of our customers that love us and keep us, and bringing the social media. All of our marketing now is done through online, organic search results, Google AdWords, and social media and that sort of thing. So really, our digital marketing specialist is our marketing effort at this point.
So what type of projects are you doing now? I mean,
Well, we are doing a lot of things. Amy Lou, if she were here, would be speaking to what she's really been expanding on the last couple of years. She's getting heavily into, you can call it eLearning or scaled learning, which is basically, delivering training services and educational services online, often through an intranet, often through the internet. But and our angle on that, our sort of specialty is that we bring our background in storytelling and more cinematic production and really higher end video production into that realm, because as you may have seen somewhere in your history, a lot of those materials can be very dry.
Oh man, snooze fest.
And painful to and they can be effective, they can be cost effective, but we find that a lot of our clients are looking for something that is more engaging, and they get better results from scaling it up. So that's been a growth segment for us lately, and we do that with everybody from Facebook to Neiman Marcus to a lot of different clients, everything from retail to just sort of software and whatnot. We have a long-standing relationship with Baylor, which is now Baylor Scott White. We do for them testimonial videos, which you may have seen some of their campaigns on TV or wherever, or billboards, and that's their tier 1 marketing effort, and we work more on the tier 2, which is more of digital delivery for online. So we'll go to a studio and shoot a series of interviews with patients who've had successful outcomes with Baylor, and they tell their stories, and we shoot and craft those into little sort of mini documentaries.
Does most of your work end up being viewed online these days?
Oh yeah, the vast majority. Yes, I mean we still do commercials. Just recently shot a commercial for La Madeleine, right? And we do work for a local company, iMart Express, which is an optical chain that actually doesn't have a presence here in Dallas, but they are all over the country in regional markets. So we do broadcast spots for companies like that.
Do you shoot differently for online consumption than you would for TV or?
It tends to be a function of budget. I mean, you can certainly take the same material and put it either place. But when people are producing for television, you tend to have higher production value, pay more for most of the components that they're in. So,
because I've heard some of these, like Hardee's, I think the hamburger chain, they've kind of got this sort of viral anarchist kind of. I mean, they're doing things intentionally to sort of be shocking,
right?
Online and even.
Yeah.
So that seems to be isolated to online as opposed to TV.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not familiar with the campaign, but. That sounds like they're trying to reach a new audience, trying to reach a younger audience, trying to be quote unquote disruptive, and
right.
But they may at the same time, their agency probably has a whole other campaign that's working toward a more traditional audience in a traditional way. So,
yeah.
Tell me, as you guys have grown, how have you and your wife split up kind of roles?
So, and it's funny, we've sort of traded off hats here and there along the way. By the way, I haven't mentioned we are a certified woman-owned business.
Oh,
Cool.
So, she is the majority shareholder, and but she has tended to be more of the in charge of creative, sort of heading up our team of producers and creative folks, and I've migrated more toward the technical and the operational. So, anything that has to do with any of our, whether it be cameras, lighting, facilities, post equipment, servers and storage for media, all that sort of thing. Those have been my bailiwick, whereas hers has been, working with producers, hiring people in that regard, overseeing creative meetings, and but also we work together for all the strategic stuff. So, when we're talking about, what markets will we pursue, or what pitch should we take into clients, that's stuff that we work on together.
So you have offices in Dallas and Seattle. Why Seattle? What got you there?
Because it's awesome. Again, we were talking off mic, that it's as much a personal choice as a business choice. Now, there is some great potential there. It is a very rapidly expanding market. There's a lot of growth, new technologies, and I think that some of our existing clients map nicely onto, working with the type of clients that we can find there. And we've done some of the work, I mentioned Facebook, my wife travels often to the Bay Area to work with them, but it's nice that Seattle's on the same coast, so we can be working in the same time zone and commute more readily back and forth between there. And they have a presence in Seattle, so we've been able to do some work with their office up there as well.
So you started going there for personal
but it's
reasons
it's as much a personal choice as a business
so
choice.
You have a business office there sort of as an excuse to...
Yeah. Okay. You can put it that way.
Let's just bottom line this, baby.
Yeah. But no, it's a great place to be, and it's when it's 105 here, and it's 80 there,
counterbalance.
That's nice. But then again, on the other hand, when it's 43 and wet for weeks on end there, it's nice to be able to spend some time in Dallas, where it'll be sunny and 80.
I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
Well, Sandy, thanks for being our guest today. We really appreciate it. Yes, I know it's already over.
Wow.
It seems like it goes so fast. But if you'd like to know more about Sandy's company, please go to amediapro.com. If you want to know more about the show, please go to nextlevelshow.com. And by the way, we are now on iTunes being podcasted. That just happened. So
Only took
I don't even want to hear it, Niner. This was my job, and I blew it for so long, but it's now there.
We're at the next level.
All right. We'll see you next week with another.
Thanks so much for having me, guys.
Have a great week.
You have been listening to The Next Level, Conversations That Propel Business with Stephen Nooner and Bob Gibbons. Join us every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. for more prolific conversations that will take your business to the next level.